This is Tales and Whispers, where every story is felt, not just heard.
Okay, let me tell you a story. It's one of history's most shocking examples of unintended consequences. It all starts back in 1950s China with a national campaign against a tiny little bird, but it ends in an almost unimaginable human disaster.
I know, it sounds crazy, right? That's the huge question we're going to tackle in this explainer. How on earth could the fate of a common sparrow get so tangled up with the lives of millions of people? Well, the answer is a really stark and brutal lesson in how nature actually works.
Before we get into the how and why, I just want you to look at this number for a second. Let it sink in. 15 million. That's the estimated human cost to the famine that followed just one single decision. We're not talking about some abstract historical statistic. This was a tragedy on an absolutely massive scale.
So, where did this all begin? Well, our story kicks off with an accusation, a formal charge laid against a creature that weighs less than a single ounce. And here it is, our little protagonist, and, at the time, the country's biggest villain, the Eurasian tree sparrow. Now, in the eyes of the Chinese government back then, this bird wasn't just a bird, it was a thief. It was officially declared a pest, accused of stealing precious grain right out of the fields and basically sabotaging the country's entire food production.
And so, that was it. In 1958, the order came down from the very, very top. To protect the nation's crops, every single sparrow had to be exterminated. A war, a literal war, was declared on a bird.
And listen, this wasn't some small-time effort. The government mobilized the entire country for this thing. It was an all-out war, and the enemy was absolutely everywhere.
The government's plan was actually pretty methodical. They had this clear four-step playbook. Step 1, officially declare the sparrow an enemy of the people. Step 2, get everyone, and I mean everyone involved. Step 3, carry out the extermination. And Step 4, celebrate and reward the people who were best at it.
So how did they get so many people on board? Well, it wasn't just an order. They turned it into a national competition. They offered rewards, prizes. People who killed the most sparrows were treated like national heroes. Driven by this patriotic duty, ordinary citizens were responsible for killing tens upon tens of thousands of these birds. So, by all accounts, the campaign was a huge success. The sparrow population was totally decimated. But, in solving one problem, they had, without knowing it, created a much, much bigger one. And this, my friends, is where the story takes a really dark ecological twist. And here's the fatal mistake they made. See, yeah, sparrows ate some grain, of course they did. But what the government completely failed to realize was the other major part of their diet: insects, specifically locusts. Sparrows were one of the main things keeping the locust population in check.
And what happens when you take the predator out of the equation? Well, the prey goes wild. With the sparrows gone, the locust population just exploded. We're talking swarms sweeping across the entire country, a plague of biblical proportions unleashed by human hands.
The thing is, the locusts didn't just eat some of the crops like the sparrows did. No, they ate everything. And this ecological nightmare led directly to a human one: the Great Famine.
You could just follow the dominoes falling here. It's a terrifyingly simple chain of events. 1958, the war on sparrows kicks off. In the years right after that, the locust population goes through the roof. And by 1961, the result is a nationwide famine that completely devastates the country.
You can see the connection so clearly here. As the sparrow population was wiped out, the locust population just spiraled out of control. The direct result? A catastrophic human famine, which brings us right back to that horrifying number from the beginning: 15 million lives lost.
So, what's the takeaway from all this? Well, it's a powerful and, honestly, a tragic lesson about ecological balance. It's about the hidden, often unimaginable costs of messing with a complex system you don't fully understand.
The source material for this story leaves us with this really profound piece of wisdom. In trying to protect their food, they eliminated the very creature that was protecting them from a far, far greater evil. The sparrow, the thing they saw as the enemy, was actually a guardian all along. And that leaves us with one last, really sobering thought. Nature is like this intricate, woven tapestry. And sometimes, pulling on what seems like the smallest, most insignificant thread, like a common little sparrow, can be enough to make the whole thing unravel.